Hey, 6th and 7th grade. This is officially the last video that I will send out to you in this 7-week stretch of video YouTube homeschooling because of COVID-19. We'll probably all remember 2020. Unusual year, and who knows what the new normal will be, but I think we can go forth. I know that we can go in trust in God, that He will take care of us and show us the way from here, how to figure out how to get back into what is normal. Thank you. Thank you for the hard work that you did at home, getting your work done, most of you, I think. Thank you, parents. All right, I know this was a stretching time for a lot, if not most of you, to have your children at home and helping them with their schoolwork. So I appreciate that. Make sure you get your math test and your reading test finished and bring those along tomorrow. That's the only work you need to bring along tomorrow. Math test and reading test. And I think the only property of the school that you have that needs to come back tomorrow when you come back would be your math books. Okay, so bring your math books along back tomorrow when you're coming. I look forward to seeing each of you tomorrow. Oh yeah, I forgot one thing. Where are they at? Evan, you had a birthday on Friday the 1st. I forgot to look at that when that was exactly. I should have had your birthday card and gift with your stuff on Friday. I apologize if you were looking forward to that and had a letdown experience. All right. Happy birthday for Evan on May the 1st. And Reagan has a birthday tomorrow. So happy birthday to you guys. And I'll see what I can come up with for you. I hinted that maybe I would sing you a song. Still kind of nervous about that, but I've decided that I will do that. Before I do that, let me give you a little history lesson in why I am singing this song. You know, I was reminded of this because the 6th grade had words in their spelling about Asia and Australia. And the 7th grade, in your last number of language lessons, the sentences in your exercises had to do with the settlement of Australia and what Australia is like. All right? And that reminded me, Botany Bay is a place in Australia. I don't even know if it's marked on here on the map. Botany Bay. But Botany Bay was the name of Australia, or the port in Australia where they came in. England at this time, we talked about exploration and civilization last year, a bit in history. In the time of Jesus, the heart of civilization was the Middle East, Southern Europe. Greece and Rome had made a lot of influence on society, and that was considered the cultural center of the world at that time. At that time, at the time of Jesus, our ancestors in France and Germany and Switzerland and the English people, all right, they were still barbarians, all right, running around the woods, doing what those kinds of people do. Okay, we would have considered them completely uncivilized. Okay, the Romans and the Greeks had the edge on education and culture and style. All that came from this area here. But go north any further, and our people were barbarians, running around the woods, very ignorant about God. Okay. Then that culture seat kind of moved. And in the even before that, the 1200s, Europe became the seat of culture and education and arrogance, really. They thought that, yeah. So it kind of moved north into these areas, and these people began to look at these people as barbarians. And it wasn't really true any more than what they were, but the culture center kind of shifted into Europe. And we talked about in the 1400s, 1500s, how especially Spain and Portugal began to get colonies. 1492, Columbus discovered that there's a bunch of land here. Well, that's made them crazy, and they began to explore and claim lands for their countries. They didn't really have a right to, but because they were most powerful, they could do it. So Spain and Portugal in the 14 and 1500s did quite a bit of exploration. France kind of came along behind them. And then England in the 1600s, late 1500s, 1600s, and into the 17 and 1800s, England did quite a bit of exploration. Here's the United Kingdom. We call it England most times, the United Kingdom, Great Britain. Here's Ireland, all right? And England became the most powerful and the most advanced explorer then. We know that the United States started as an English colony. Canada is still connected to England somehow. I don't understand the politics of how they do it, of how they're responsible or accountable to the government of England, yet it's somehow anyway. And England also started many colonies over here. Australia was under English rule. India, Pakistan, some of these Asian areas were settled and, quote, civilized by the English. They didn't really bring any more civilization than a lot of people. But in the 17 and 1800s, they began to settle Australia. And it began as a penal colony having to do with prisoners. They sent their prisoners there. Now we think about that, sending prisoners. What kind of prisoners? Well, these prisoners weren't necessarily, I'm sure there were some, but they weren't necessarily hardened, murderers entirely and things like that. But these prisoners were people who, for whatever, a lot of it was political, all right? So you had England. You had very wealthy landlords in England who had land in Ireland, and you had these sharecroppers or these tenant farmers that lived on their land and worked for them and rented from them. And basically, all of their income and resources went to their landlords. So you would work, but the landlord would claim most of your crop as rent. Look, I let you live on this land. And it wasn't a good land, all right? It wasn't a good arrangement. They were mostly selfish men who were there just to profit off of their people. There were a number of famines in Ireland. In the mid-1800s, they believe, is when this song came out. The mid-1800s, there was a famine. And these tenant farmers, their crops failed, so they had nothing to pay their landlords with, and so their children were starving and things like that. This song that I'm going to sing is called The Fields of Athenry. It's about a couple named Michael and Mary. And Michael, at one point, out of desperation, stole food from his landlord, Trevelyan. Trevelyan is the name. You'll hear that name in the song. Trevelyan. He stole corn from Trevelyan so that his starving son wouldn't die. They caught him, put him in prison, and sentenced him to move to Australia. Now, when they did that, they didn't send families with them. Okay? They just split up the families, and just a part of the cruelty of it all, Mary and their son didn't get to go with Michael to Australia. So they would send these prisoners to Australia, and that was a way of settling and taming a wild land. Okay, it was risky. The mortality rate was fairly high. It was just new land. People didn't know that much about, but they thought, wow, we can send our prisoners, and if they tame it and settle it, great. If they all die, not a big deal, all right? And Ireland kind of has a history of that. Ireland is a lovely land. I visited Ireland a couple times, and I learned this song in '07 with a group that we were touring Ireland and England, and learned this song. And this is the Irish national anthem, okay? Before ball games, before soccer games or rugby matches or whatever it is that they play in Ireland, before events like the United States plays the Star Spangled Banner, Ireland and even places in England, it's kind of interesting that they both have this song, but they play this song, The Fields of Athenry. Ireland has a history, a fairly rich culture of music as well, and these ballads, was that a spelling word for somebody one time? I think ballads are songs that tell a story, all right, and that's what the Fields of Athenry do. So I will sing the Fields of Athenry, and I have not yet even decided if I'll upload it or not, so I might have to redo this video, if I don't like the song, so. But here goes, bear with me. This is called The Fields of Athenry. Better get a drink. I'm nervous. I sang it in my car and it went well, but by a lonely prison wall, I heard a young girl calling, Michael, they have taken you away, for you stole Trevelyan's corn, so the young might see the morn. Now prison ship lies waiting in the bay. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free bird fly. Our love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely round the fields of Athenry. By a lonely prison wall, I heard a young man calling, nothing matters, Mary, when you're free. Against the famine and the crown, I rebelled, they cut me down. Now you must raise our child with dignity. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free bird fly. Our love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. By a lonely harbor wall, she watched the last star falling, as a prison ship sailed out against the sky. Sure she'll live and hope and pray for her love in Botany Bay. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. Low lie the fields of Athenry, where once we watched the small free bird fly. Where love was on the wind, we had dreams and songs to sing. It's so lonely around the fields of Athenry. It's only around the fields of Athenry. It was lonely around this school without my kids. Great day.